Okay, I just wanted to go over quickly how to make a Pareto chart in Excel, at least with Excel and Mac. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the steps one by one. So what we have here is normally the information that we would get with regard to a Pareto chart. We have reasons for errors, and then we have the count of errors for each of those. So you see with reason 1, we've counted 136 errors from that. With reason 2, we've counted 23 errors from that. With reason 3, we've counted 9. With reason 4, we've counted 5. With reason 5, we've counted 2. So the first thing we want to do is we want to calculate the cumulative number of errors that we can get from this. So the cumulative errors is, for reason 1, how much is reason 1? But for reason 2, how much if we take into account both reason 1 and reason 2? So So we make a column called cumulative errors. This isn't the last of the calculations we'll do, but we're going to go through this step by step. So cumulative errors, so how we calculate this? What we're trying to do with each of these is we want to calculate the errors up to that point. So for reason 3, for instance, we want to calculate the errors for reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. So the formula we use for this particular column is going to be equals sum, and sum just adds up a group of numbers. And then we select that. Now we're going to make a change to this formula, and it may take a bit to explain this change. For the first part of it, what we're going to do is we're going to add dollar signs into this particular formula. What these dollar signs do is when we scroll this down, in other words, when we take this formula and we effectively scroll it down to reason 2, reason 3, reason 4, reason 5, the second number is going to change. We've all seen this from working with Excel. But by having the dollar signs there, that first number is not going to change. So as we see, so we have some $C $6 colon C6. So what's going to happen when we scroll down is this is not going to change, but this is. That's the beauty of those dollar signs. It keeps it at that, referencing that cell, no matter how far we move it. So we scroll it down, and we see that we've had precisely the effect we expect. The C6 has not changed, no matter how far we've scrolled it down, but that second part of the formula, C9, C10, that has. So what this does is, for say reason 4 here, sum C6 to C9. So that sums up these 4 cells, which is precisely what we want. Now the beauty of this is that by taking these cumulative errors, we've also calculated the total count of errors. And that just happens to be right here. After all, reason 5 being the last reason, this is going to sum up all of these errors here. So what we can do from here is we can calculate a cumulative percentage, which is what we're interested in with regard to the line graph portion of the Pareto chart. So we have cumulative percentage. So this is just going to equal this cell right here, the cumulative errors for reason 1 divided by the total number of errors, which we just happen to have from reason 5. So we're going to use those dollar signs again, because we don't want the cell for reason 5 to change, because that's our total count. We're going to be using these for all of these. But we do want the numerator in this formula, the cumulative errors for reason 1, for reason 2, for reason 3. We do want that to change as we scroll down. So we scroll this down, and we see that we have percentages here. Now I'm going to do one other thing here. I'm going to add one other column. And the reason why is just to make the data more presentable. Specifically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these by 100, so that instead of 0.77, we have 77%. If instead of 0.908, we have 90.8%. So we have one more column. And So that's just going to equal this times 100. After all, 0.77 is 77%. So now we've done our calculations. We've calculated everything we need to make a Pareto chart. So now let's gather the data together to actually make the chart. So first of all, we have, of course, reason 1. So let's equal that. And yes, I'm just gathering information here, getting it in the right places so that we can easily make the Pareto chart. So we have, of course, each reason. We have the count of errors, which we're going to need. And the cumulative percentage, which we're also going to need. So this is the basic data that we need to form a Pareto chart. So how do we turn this into a graph? Well, here's what we do. First, you select the data, and when it comes to charts, when we're on charts right now, we click on, well, we can click on either column or line. I prefer line because, well, habit. So we select line. And this is what we get. And you see that there's still a lot that we need to do here. After all, we just have 2 lines rather than a line and a bar chart. So we still need to make some changes. So let's make some changes. So let's select this data right here. So I click on Command and then click on the mouse, and then click on Control. So by having my finger on Control, on the Control button in Mac, and then clicking the mouse, this comes up, and we have, well, stuff available. So change series chart type, because what we want from this is we want it to be a column, right? We want this data to be a column. So we select that, we've changed it to a column, and lo and behold, we have a Pareto chart. After all, we have the bar chart that gives us the various counts for each of the sources of error. And then we have the cumulative percentage that comes from fixing all of the errors up to that point. And that is a Pareto chart. So thank you, and hopefully this helps out.